And we invite Gert Heffert and Elias de Cairn for the Flanders Marine Institute, Alison Borges from CERCIAV and Pedro Coutinho from Sporting Clube Aveiro, and also Ana Príncipe from the Sailors of Hope project, and Anselmo da Costa from the Almada Local Health Unit to the stage. This session will be moderated by Alexandre Guedes da Silva from the Portuguese Multiple Sclerosis Society.
Good morning, everybody. Sorry for the momentum, but that's life. I'm a naval architect. I'm 60 years old, and I live with MS for already 36 years. It's a constant struggle, an everyday struggle, but what is important is that motivation can break all the difficulties. I'm also a sailor in the Paralympic community, and I'm here to honored to present this session in behalf of my organization, the Portuguese Multiple Sclerosis Society. It's a society with 40 years of age. It started in 1984 when there was no neurologist specialized in MS in Portugal. So the first work that we did at that time was to raise money in order to finance some medical students to specialize in the disease. From that on, we became an organization of the people with deficiency, and also an organization representative of the patients. And also we dedicate some of our funds to research, and that's how we operate. We also have a lot of intervention in the civil society and toward our parliament and our government. So in a way, we are a multiple object or task organization that works all over the country. We have 18 focal points, especially in all the Portuguese regions. But enough to speak about me. I'm going to give my colleagues the floor, and please, because I don't know exactly how your background is, I will ask you to present yourselves. So the first speakers, please announce yourselves and make your presentation.
All the biographies are in the webpage, and if you scan this code, you have all the biographies.
Okay.
This because we have so short time.
Exactly. So you use this code in order to access all the biographies. So I would ask the first presenter with no further. Okay.
Okay.
You can start.
Thank you.
You have 7 minutes.
Thank you.
And I will point you 2 minutes.
Yes. Thank you. That's very kind of you. Gert Heffert, Flanders Marine Institute. My background is in bioengineering, by the way. So I'm here for a second presentation. So before the break, I presented the new framework that we developed within the Oceano working group, and there I really said that it's important to know causalities. And what I will present now is how we can get to these causalities. And I will focus here on a virtual reality experiment in which we try to simulate the ocean in the lab, because when we are exposed to the ocean, I already explained to you before the break, we have a lot of these stimuli coming in, but we need standardization in order to be able to know what trigger, what stimulus will result in what particular effect. First, I would like to give a little bit of background. So what you see here is 60,000 census data that we have collected. It's a project of 3-4 years back. So 60,000 people in Belgium reported on their health. And what we did is, based on the location where they live in Belgium, we then checked based on the distance to the coast, on the excess, how they report their own health. And what you can clearly see is that people living very close to the coast report a better health significantly. Secondly, we all remember the very unfortunate situation with the COVID-19 lockdown, but for us as researchers, this was a perfect opportunity. It was a natural experiment because we were all in lockdown. People could not move anymore. Only the people that were living very close to the ocean could still visit the ocean. Yeah? And we used this very unnatural conditions to perform the experiment with more than 600 adults, and we then asked them, what is your level of boredom? What's your level of worry? And what's your level of happiness? And what we could see is that people that could still visit and had access to the coast significantly reported less boredom, less worry, and more happiness. So this is just to set the scene. These are the observations that we made. But now the question that we had, why do we observe this? There are multiple hypotheses behind this, but basically what we did is we tried to simulate the ocean in the lab. As already said in the introduction, this is we need to standardize in order to be able to get rid of a lot of these other stimuli that are inherently present at the coast. We do experimental control, so we do a precise manipulation of what people see, of what people hear, and of the context, the other contexts they have. We can also reduce confounding factors, such as typically the weather, such as the time in the day, or potential social interference. And also what we then report can be potentially reproduced in other future studies. So we're trying here to bridge the gap from the field to the lab, but then in the end to come to causal relationships that can be used again in real world conditions. In order to simulate the ocean in the lab, there are like different ways in order to do this. So, of course, we have real life, the exposure method, we have the real life. But then, depending on the level of immersion you are in, you have different exposure methods. So you can have an immersive room, you can have VR, so virtual reality, you can have just videos, pictures, or you can use your imagination even to be at the coast. This all comes with different dimensions. If you are in a real life or an immersive room, or when you have VR, you can have 3D dimensions. When you are just looking at the screen, you only have 2D dimensions. And then, depending on the simulation you're using, you can also stimulate different senses. You can have just a visual sense, you can have what you hear, it is also what you can smell, or it is what you can feel. And this is actually what we did in 2023. So there we tested the psychological reality in a virtual reality experiment. So we used virtual reality. We had more than 160 respondents, and then we exposed them in virtual reality to a coastal, a green, and an urban environment. And important here is we used an objective endpoint. So we did not only ask people to report themselves what they, how they felt, but we used independent endpoints, just like heart rate variability, skin conductance, blood pressure, breathing rate, muscle tone, and also self-reported stress. But for sure, these first ones, people cannot influence it. It's like objective measurements we took. So what we could notice is that depending on where the persons were exposed to, the more natural, it's here on the left side, the more natural the environments were, the better the people mentioned themselves that they could restore in these environments. So the more close to the ocean, the better, and the more urban we were, people reported, no, I cannot restore there. Secondly, what you have there in that right graph, that's the breathing rate. And there, from that graph, you can distill, it's a bit complex, and I cannot go into detail, but what we could notice there is that people that are in urban environments have a higher breathing rate than when they are exposed to the ocean. So basically in this study, what we found was beaches versus urban result in lower breeding rates, beaches versus green environments result in lower skin conductance responses, beaches have a lower negative mood and lower perceived stress, and we did not observe any clear effects on heart rate variability, blood pressure, and muscle tone, which is also a very interesting finding. If you want to read more about this, please feel free to have a look at this publication. It has been published in the Journal of Environmental Psychology. And then what brings us next is the plan within the PhD of Elias. We will simulate the ocean in the lab in an immersive room. So it's an old bunker environment that we have completely refurbished, where we are able to have 360-degree videos. We are currently installing a surround system for sound, and we can also do and mimic the ocean smell. So more to be followed on this. Thank you very much, and of course we're still here if you have questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's on time, perfect. Next presentation, please. Oceano, between tides and lives, exactly. Okay, so the program is not updated, sorry. In the waves,
Good morning. I'm a little nervous. Sorry. My name is Alison Borges. I'm a physical therapist at the Sessão, an organization in Aveiro dedicated to inclusion, empowerment, and improving the quality of life of the people with disabilities. I'm here today together with my colleague and partner in this project, Pedro Coutinho, coach of adapted sailing program at the Sporting Clube de Aveiro Sailing Academy. Together, we have the privilege of working side by side with the participants in the Ria Sem Limite project. This presentation will be brief and focused, giving you a clear overview of how adapted sailing can promote autonomy, well-being, and participation. At the end, all material, slides, and video will be available for consultation. This title of my talk is Between Tides and Lives, the positive impact of the ocean on disability. And that is exactly what we witness every week on the water. Sessão working daily to promote inclusion and participation, but inclusion does not happen all inside the building. It happens in community, in shared experience, and environment where people feel free, capable, and valued. The ocean offers exactly that, a space with walls, without labels, and full of possibilities. Ria Sem Limite is a partnership between Sessão and Sporting Clube de Aveiro, supported by several social investors. Through universal design boats and training, coach like Pedro, participants steers, train sail and make real decisions on the water, safely and with dignity. We see improvement. We see improvement in motor skills, in abilities, in balance, communication, emotional regulation, in self-esteem. But above all, we see transformation people discovering new abilities, new confidence, and a new connection with nature. This more important in this presentation is not that I can talk about, because we're building a short video to everybody see that I can talk, that I can read at Rio. This video you are about to watch bring together this moment, this learning, the challenge, the emotion in the voice of people we support. These are real experiences lived with authenticity, courage, and joy. I hope the next 5 minutes allow you to feel a little of what we feel every time we go out into Rio de Janeiro, a place where tides and lives move together.
Acho que é confortável, estamos bem, estamos felizes, estamos a sentir outra energia, estamos a sentir muita coisa, nós sentimos, estamos tristes, estamos só aqui ao mar a respirar fundo, até 10, até 20. Vamos a fazer atividades tipo respirar fundo, ver o mar, ver o mar que levamos, que não levamos, pessoas boas, pessoas mais simpáticas e dá a nossa vida.
O mar para mim é algo que me tranquiliza, que me limpa a mente, é puro.
Sim, sou feliz. Quando eu dou um mergulho, a água está um bocado fria. E eu depois às vezes tenho medo de dar um mergulho. Do barco a vela, testei coisa cerezo.
Como te chamas?
O meu nome é João Capina, sou eu daqui para as Parceias.
E o que é que vieste cá fazer hoje?
Eu sabia agarrar nas cordas para matar o barco vermelho e eu sabia surfar.
E gostaste?
Estou a gostar.
Estás a gostar?
Estou a gostar, sabia surfar.
O símbolo destes barcos...
Sim, o barco?
Sim, é mesmo um pássaro.
O pássaro?
É. E tu, como te chamas?
José.
O que vieste fazer?
Vim andar de barco.
E gostas, não?
Gosto.
O que é que já sabes fazer?
A conduzir, pegar a corda.
Mais.
E depois andar.
E o que fazes à corda?
Puxo-a.
E como se chama puxar?
Puxar a corda.
Anda cá, como chamas tu?
Nuno Jorge.
Nuno, o que é puxar a corda?
Levo.
Quando puxas, como é que se chama?
Escuta.
A escota. O cabo chama-se escota, não é?
Escota.
Mas quando puxas a escota, como é que se chama isso? Essa operação?
Para a direita.
Não, para puxar. Quando puxas, como é que... garoto, estava aqui a ouvir a gente. Como é que se chama?
Caça à vela.
Caça à vela, puxar a escota. Certo?
Certo.
Como te chamas?
Ricardo Filipe.
Então o que é que vieste fazer? Vieste andar do barco?
Vim.
E gostas?
Gosto.
Porquê é que gostas?
Que é uma atividade divertida.
Muito bem. Tens mais colegas que fazem aí vela?
Não.
Gostavas de ter?
Gostava.
Ok. Tens que perguntar lá, nos teus amigos, na família, se alguém quer vir andar contigo. Vinhas?
Vinha.
Ai, que bom. Também vieste andar à vela, não foi, André?
Eu vim à vela, sim.
E então, vais querer andar também com os teus amigos à vela ou não?
Vou, claro que sim.
E o André Neto?
Eu gosto de andar de vela.
Já és veterano, pá, já andas aqui nos barcos à vela há muito tempo.
Sim.
Sim? Quem é que tu gostavas de trazer para a vela?
Meu irmão.
O teu irmão? Quantos anos tem?
Não sei de cor.
Sim, mas é assim mais velho que tu?
Sim, sim.
Ah, é?
É.
Teu irmão e mais?
Minha irmã.
Ok. A tua irmã se ver-te a andar à vela?
Sim.
E tu levavas ela a dar uma voltinha no barco?
Sim.
Então, vamos experimentar isso?
Sim.
Pronto. Muito bem. Então, até um dia destes.
Thank you. Everybody invited to sail with us.
Thank you very much. And now we have Sailors of Hope. Please go. In fact, the boat is the boat where I race, is the answer class. It's a very manageable and very stable boat, quite proper for everybody.
Good morning. I'm very happy for stay here today and muito obrigado ao professor Luís Pinheiro e ao Comitê Nacional para a Década por esta oportunidade. I go speak English very sorry. I'm going to tell a charming story. Once upon a time. When a child draws the sea, it is not only the sea that is born on the paper. It is their thinking gaining color, fear transforming into curiosity, pain turning into discovery. In the hospital, each stroke is a journey, and each child is a little sailor of hope. Through their eyes, the ocean is never just water. It is movement, it is life, it is imagination without borders. In these drawings, there are no walls and no limits, only possibilities. In this, on that fragile piece of paper, that science meets poetry and healing meets wonder. With the support of the National Committee for the Ocean Decade, the Pediatric Service of Portugal, Spain, and Italy, and the tireless collaboration of dedicated hospital educators, children and young people in hospital are invited to dive into a universe of discovery. We'll be very happy for pediatrics from another countries to join us. You know, speak me. And with this dive emerged a unique encounter. The work developed together between Pediatric Service and the program Marine Microbes from A to Z. Here the tiniest, most mysterious beings of the ocean, invisible to the eyes, it immerses in their role in life. enter the hospital as magical characters perfectly suited to the world of children imagination. Thus science ceases to be abstract and becomes a living experience. Each stroke, each question, each observation transforms curiosity into learning and care in analogy. The health of the oceans and human health are not two separate stories. They are waves of the same sea, rising and falling with the same breath of life. If the ocean suffers, we suffer too. If the ocean heals, we also find balance. And in laughter of a child painting a fish, a jellyfish, or a ray of light in the depth of the sea, we discover that hope is, after all, contagious. May the sound of this wave continue to echo in schools, in hospitals, in this season, and in dreams. Sorry. May we all embark on this challenge with the same curiosity, the same tenderness, and the same desire to understand the world. Because it is this way, step by step, gesture by gesture, that the future is drawn. And it is the sea that offers us the only possible horizon. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ooh. Okay.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. I would start this presentation asking you to close your eyes for just a moment and imagine the sea. Think of the vastness, the challenge, the raw power, and the endless horizons. Now, I want you to imagine a child anchored in a hospital bed facing their own powerful, uncertain ocean. This is the scenario that inspired the project Sailors of Hope, in Portuguese, Marinheiros da Esperança. This is not just a program, it's a compass, a lifeline, and a call to action. Today I'm going to share with you how we are using the deep, beautiful symbolism of the sea to try to bring well-being and a moment of powerful creativity in the lives of hospitalized children. For the Portuguese people, the sea is much more than just geography. It's a profound symbol of hope and freedom. It runs through our history, our soul, and our identity. But let's look closer at the true sailor. For the sailor, the sea is a constant challenge. It's the obstacle that must be overcome. It's a boundless source of inspiration and adventure. When the waves are high and the horizon seems distant, what keeps the ship moving forward, it's not just the strength of the wind, but the unwavering presence of hope. Hope is the lighthouse that guides the sailor through the fierce storms and leads them safely to port. This is the powerful metaphor we place in every heart of our project. The primary objective of Sailors of Hope is crystal clear: to contribute to the well-being and quality of life for hospitalized children by appealing to their creativity. It has been more than 30 years that I work in neonatology and pediatric intensive care, and I began thinking mostly in organic, biological terms, but health is much more than antibiotics and therapeutics and ventilators and so on. And I have learned through the years that people and their parents, children and their parents, need to be hopeful, and we try to do that. When a child is in a hospital, they lose their sense of control. They are no longer a free agent. They are a patient confined by routines and treatments. Our project seeks to restore that essential sense of agency and freedom through the power of imagination. We don't just distract them, we equip them. We transform their hospital room, their anchorage, in the bridge of a mighty vessel. Through tailored creative activities, we ask them to become the captain of their own ship. They draw their new safe harbor. They design the flag of the crew. They chart a course through the vastness of their imagination. The focus on creativity is vital. It allows the children to momentarily look behind the illness and focus on possibility. It's a powerful therapeutic tool that shifts their energy from passive endurance to active creation. It gives them the emotional equipment, the creative life vest to ride out of the storm. What is the real impact of the sailors? Oh, excuse me. What are the real impact of the Sailors of Hope project? It's the shift in the child's eyes from worry to wonder. It's the moment they realize that even though they are confined physically, their imagination is truly free. We are not curing the illness, but we are restoring the spirit. We are teaching them that, like a seasoned mariner, they possess the resilience to navigate their current circumstances. We are reminding them that hope is a feeling that motivates us to keep sailing, even when the waves are their highest. We provide the inspiration, they provide the courage. We offer the map, they chart the journey. We are simply the crewmates, reminding them they are not sailing alone. So let me close by asking you to imagine that ocean one more last time. The Sailors of Hope project recognizes that every child in a hospital bed is a sailor facing a difficult voyage. Our mission is to ensure that their journey is filled not with fear, but with courage, creativity, and the unwavering light of hope. I'd like to leave you with a quote of an almost unknown French poet, Antoine de Rivarol, who said, "Hope is a loan that we make to happiness." Let's make this loan, and let's bring hope and joy to their young heart. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your inspiring words. And I have just one question. I don't know if we can have questions now, but I have one question for all of you, and I give you 2 minutes each to explain the world how your experience can be replicated. Because what I see here are examples of good practice that could be replicated worldwide. So we can start with your transformation of a bunker in a sensorial space, and I think it's quite interesting the use of the ocean environment and space in order to create well-being in the people.
Okay, thank you very much for this question. So within the PG of Elias, you have seen that we come to the observation that the coast is indeed beneficial for human health. But of course, what we also want to avoid, and when we speak to local stakeholders, is that everyone suddenly moves towards the coast, because especially in the context of Belgium, we're very occupied already. It's also very expensive. Depending on your socio-economic life state, you just cannot afford to be there. So that's actually also one of the reasons why we invested in these proxies for ocean health and for getting these stimuli towards the people. So it's investing in these, to try to simulate the lab and bring actually the coast towards the people. Based on the research of Elias, we can then also see what approach works best. I've seen, for example, imagination. This is something that we also are currently working on together with the promoters of Elias. But what we have also been thinking, for example, is to bring pictures that people say, look, this is one of the pictures that always reminds me of my childhood, to, for example, then provoke this feeling of nostalgia that we have also been discussing in one of the previous presentations. Other people are maybe more benefited by VR or by watching documentaries. So it depends. It's not that the therapy that maybe later on that we can prescribe, it will be one fit for all solution. It should be tailored towards the person.
So we can pass now to our colleagues of the Sailors of Hope. How can we replicate the project in other wards, of children wards, or even in adult wards? Because I think it would also benefit the adulthood.
Well, it's an open project. We have hospitals from Portugal, Spain, Italy, and connection with Argentina also. We are open to every hospital that wants to participate also. And the question is, pediatrics is on the front line of a lot of innovation in pediatric wards. In a lot of areas. We started with music at the hospital pediatric wards. Then we have clowns, and we have this project, and all to improve the same. It's the quality of life. It's not only prolonging life. Sometimes when we have not clinical hopes of much more, I think we must get good remembering from their parents and their children. That's all about. If I have a child that is optimistic about the situation, it allows much more easily to be treated properly than in old times, that things were a little bit forceful. And hospitals are not places for children, but children need hospitals. So we have to change the layout, the posture, the way of doing things in order to have a good environment to treat children. And the Sailors of Hope is one of those ways. And who knows a little bit about Portugal knows that almost our poets have write about the sea. We are deeply connected to the sea. But I see that presentations for other countries also have the same appeal. Ocean is the thing that is in front of us. And even our children began. We deal with very small babies, 500 grams and so. We have some little octopus that we put on the incubators, because it seems like that's an anthropological continuity between the womb and the amniotic fluid. They come to earth, they have hair, but there is still a water appeal. Probably it's just poetry also, but I do believe in that.
And now the real deal. How can we put people in the ocean? And especially, how can we devise a movement that can be national or transnational, that can cultivate this kind of experience of inclusion, in your case, but also in the therapeutic area, as providing people access to physical activity and to the ocean.
I don't know if I understood all, but in Portuguese I will talk to you 1 hour, 2 hours, but in English, okay.
1 minute. We in Aveiro we have a psychologists for the neurodevelopment recommends the sailing to the child, and we today now partners the future. We will combine one participation. In the others, the children, we have a need of a lot of brincar, play in the free air, in contact with the nature, and the sail. But to this, we need the boats with universal design, and in these boats, this class which we work, the boats in the same hour of the children arrive, they can sail. One challenge to the entities for the MEC is promote the boats universal design with inclusion principles to the clubs, the next MEC.
So, thank you very much. For closing the debate, I just mentioned one important study that we are also participating, in which sailing can have a therapeutic effect in multiple sclerosis equivalent or at the same level of the disease-modifying therapies, which means that an investment in physical activity, ocean going practices from the different sports would be quite beneficial to the people with brain problems. So I would suggest you also to explore the therapeutic effect of the ocean in order to equilibrate the homeostasis of the people with diseases.
In every session, in every day with the sail, I watching these benefits. The building is impact relatório de relax. Relatório de impacto impact report is a lot graded. Então every session we saw the benefits, the balance, and we speak about this balance and self-esteem. It's great.
Okay, thank you very much. We close the session. Hopefully the debate would be later. And thank you to the participants.
If anyone wants a quick question.
Okay, so if anyone has a question, the organizer allows us. Please raise your hand. Okay, no questions. I should have more questions in my pocket. Okay, so a final word, and that's also something that happened here in Portugal. 10 years ago, there was a world expedition of people with MS. And they were on the sea in different sections during 16 months. And what happens to those people was almost full rehabilitation, both bio, psycho, and social, which means that even with interventions that are non-pharmacological, we can have real gains in the quality of life of the people and their inclusion in society. So the ocean is, from my point of view, is a healing environment. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for all the speakers of this session. And I will proceed by calling our final keynote before lunch, which is Luís Campos, Chair of the Portuguese Council for Health and Environment.